Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to today's Power Boost. So this morning, afternoon, we want to explore a little bit on the connection between food and our happiness. We all, I would think the majority of us, we like food, we like to eat, right? We like to eat certain things. Then what also matters is the quantity, how much we eat, how frequently, so when are we eating, and even when eating or drinking something, how do I do that? Where is my mind? What's my inner awareness? How do I feel? What am I thinking while eating? So all of these factors are relevant. And there's a lot of science, a lot of research happening around this whole area of food, right? Diets, which diet is the best one, most effective one. And there's a huge amount of information available. What we would like to focus here is a little bit more on, as one aspect, and that relates to the connection between the food intake and happiness now in particular. Many times, I think we eat to feel good. There are also many who eat very consciously in order to nourish the body. But a main reason why food is consumed, certain foods, the quantity, the frequency, is connected to our feelings. And so, of course, happiness is what we want to experience. We want to feel good. We want to feel happy. We don't want to be, we don't really like to deal with problems, face certain situations, and think about all these things. We would like to just enjoy, right? Which is a good thing, actually. And in this physical world, the way we grow up, we kind of get conditioned. We learn that I need to take something from the outside world, something in this world. I need to be here, take this, eat that, in order to feel good, in order to be healthy, in order to be even valued, you know. There are some, just because, for example, they eat at certain places or certain quality of food, that they have more value than someone who does not. So there are many things going on at a subtle level in connection with food. But for my happiness, and it does give us, it does make us happy, it does make us feel good, especially when we eat very tasty food, when we typically heavy food is also tasty. And if I don't eat heavy food, then many times we eat more than actually needed. And all of that is connected to a certain state of mind. So what I eat, how much I eat, when I eat, my state of mind, what is it that I'm thinking or feeling, experiencing when I eat that food, all of that is connected to and driven by a certain state of mind. And when we eat, especially certain foods, it does make us happy. It does give us a good feeling, a feeling of fullness, but is a little bit dangerous because it's only temporary, because soon after one can easily feel guilty because I ate too much. But also too much food, too heavy food makes us lazy, makes us sleepy. And so by eating, we are also many times avoiding to face certain aspects in our lives, in our own inner world. One thing that we are learning here on a spiritual journey, if we look from the spiritual perspective at the self, at qualities, experiences of happiness, for example, we are learning that there's an inner being in this body, a being of consciousness, a being of goodness, that, and I am that being. And that being, the soul, innately carries happiness or joy, even bliss. So soul energy is distinct from the physical energy, from the energy of the body. Soul doesn't need food. The body needs nourishing food. Body is like a machine, right? Biologically active, alive, and so certain nutritions need to reach the body in order for the body to stay healthy and so on. So on the spiritual journey, when we connect to the self as an inner being of goodness, we come to understand and gradually more and more to experience that happiness is something that is part, that is embedded in the soul. And the more I connect to that inner happiness, I go within and I choose to be happy. I choose to be light. I choose to feel good, no matter what. I have the power to do so. And so you learn to consciously bring out, connect to that happiness and emerge it, bring it out, express it through your actions, to what you do through the body. If we depend on foods, food is only one example. There are so many things we do, places we go, in order to feel a little bit better, to feel good about the self, to feel happy, right? While there are attainments, as I said, they're very short-lived. And then I need to go back to that place or to that person, to that food. I need to consume more, take in more in order to experience that fullness, that happiness, that satisfaction again. And so gradually, actually, it becomes a form of addiction. And over a long time, it does not increase, but actually diminishes the experience of happiness. So one thing that we can practice is to use that, experiment with that idea of there's a conscious living being in this body, maybe just behind the eyes. And that being is full and complete within its own self and carries all the goodness. Yeah. And that is how I started my journey. So my original state of being becomes now my reference point in terms of who I am. And if I practice that, I will more and more make choices that are of benefit. It might be a little bit challenging to begin with because we do not have the habit to go within and to look at the self as a more subtle, invisible being, and that happiness is within. We all believe happiness is something I need to get through someone, something. But no, you are a being of happiness. So you can also experiment over the next days, maybe. Observe yourself when you are eating. Ask yourself, why are you eating? Do I really need that much? When am I eating? Do I have meals at regular time? And when eating, am I practicing mindfulness? Am I present? Am I grateful, appreciative as I consume this food? And of course, the quantity. So while eating, if I can be in an inner state of gratefulness, appreciation, for example, it will also affect the digestion process in a more, it will benefit the digestion of the food. And so there is a lot of benefit for the body, but also for the mind. Okay, so let us explore for the next few moments that whole aspect of going within and emerging our happiness from within in meditation. So I sit relaxed, become aware of your breath, and consciously take in a breath, and then we exhale. And again, consciously, I breathe in and I exhale. I'm connected to the breathing of the body, which is more subtle than just seeing the body. And as I am aware about the breathing of the body, it is as if I become the observer, observing the breathing, observing how the body takes in a breath and exhales. So who is that being that is observing? There's a being of consciousness, the I, the self, that has the ability to observe itself, observe its surrounding. So I hold the focus of my attention for the next few moments on that whole idea that the I that is speaking, the I that is listening, is a subtle being of light, a being of consciousness, invisible, to the physical eyes, but I can understand myself. I can experience myself. So take a moment and just focus, be stable on that idea of being a subtle being of light. Feel that inner calmness, quietness, even stillness of the mind that starts to emerge as I have these thoughts about myself. I am a very special and unique being in this body, and I, the being, use this body. I express myself through this body. I communicate with the world around me through the expression, or by the expression through this body. Yes, I am very special, unique, but I carry also the most beautiful and essential qualities that are needed in life. I carry them within my own self. I'm a pure soul. I'm a peaceful soul. Very loveful, joyful, happy, strong and wise being. I'm complete and perfect within my own self. The embodiment of peace, embodiment of joy. This is how I start my journey through time, in perfection, in complete happiness, as the embodiment of happiness. Bundle of light and joy, innocence, beauty is radiating through this body. And reminding myself of my original state of being, that peace and happiness are natural, my natural nature. As I remind myself about this happiness and how much I value that, how much I value myself, I now start to make choices. Choices that are different compared to not knowing my true self. If I am a being of light and happiness, I have something to share. And whatever I take in is not to fill me, is not to make me complete, is not to make me feel good. Food, for example, I feed this body to nourish the body and for the vibrations that went into the food, those vibrations of love, will feed the mind and support the inner experience of happiness. So it is important the vibrations that go into the food. As the food goes into the body, the vibrations in the food will impact the mind. And so in the awareness of my true self, I now practice to be who I am naturally, no matter what circumstances, situations are. I have a right to be happy, and I'm distinct, separate from the situation. Keep the situation outside. Remember who you are and give a donation of light, of good wishes, of pure feelings. Be a well-wisher to help find solutions instead of contributing to any problem situation. Om Shanti